Greetings from Florida. Today we're working on the Mercedes CLS series. This video is at 4 speed. It's sped up because it takes a while to go through everything here. So that plate that I just took off on the upper right, you've got a couple screws inside the pull right there. And I'll show you when I put the plate back on. But two things are important on this. One, the plastic's very brittle, so be really careful when pulling anything out. And two, all of these clips need to become unclipped before you take the panel off. One of them, or two of them, are on a ribbon instead of an actual wiring harness, and it's brittle and it breaks very easily. So it's vital that you get all of these unplugged prior to getting the panel off. Can't stress that enough. Also, that faceplate that I took off right where my hand is now, the one that I took off initially, I broke that the first time. I dropped it, shattered. So I got a new one, obviously. So be very careful with that as well. Taking it off, be very careful not to drop it. The plastic's seen better days. There's also one Torx bolt. Yeah, that's right. There were Torxes inside where the handle was, and there was one Torx bolt on the right-hand side and the upper right. And the speaker, the triangular speaker right there, does come off with a little bit of effort. It's just a clip on, but it does come off. So let's get this all apart. That's that wire that ribbon that I was telling you about. Now, I've been here before, and I locked the window up for him until I can get the part in, the regulator. So I'm going to take everything out of this. I'm going to take off that brain for all the relays in there. Be very careful with that. You don't want to have to replace that. I didn't even get a price, but I'm sure it's in the twilight zone. I have no idea why the video is suddenly starting to go slow motion. I didn't make any changes on it, but you'll have to work with it. Check out the part. Make sure it's the right part before you go any farther. 20 Torx screws, T20, to get the speaker out. And we'll loosen those. Take off the seal strip that's at the bottom of the door right there. It's the bottom of the glass, rather. And lift the glass up, put a suction cup on it, get it out of the way. Take the motor off again, which was, I believe, T30 Torx bolts. Okay, so you've got one underneath. You get two of them underneath. And the two nuts underneath also allow you to adjust the glass, tilting forward or backwards into the cockpit after the door panel is on, which is nice. It's an adjustment you can make after the panel is completely on. It's a very minor adjustment, so if you need to. Now, there's also a 10mm nut in there that holds the regulator on. And that was a bit of an issue to get to. It was just cumbersome. It's right there, but it was cumbersome to get it, as you can see in a minute. You probably don't have to take that nut off. I think I did, but you probably don't have to take it off. You can just loosen it and then slide the regulator out. Looks like I got it. You don't have to remove that triangular brace, that bracket that's on the door. So I took out the regulator, took all the stuff out of the door, all the little pieces that broke off. Taking off the caps. And if I had to do over again, put the left side in first. I ended up putting the right side in first, which became a little bit more of a challenge. So now you want to hook that bolt over where the mounting piece is in the door and get the bottom part in. Hey, a couple things. If you have any questions, obviously ask them on the YouTube page. I'll be glad to answer them. 2, if this is beneficial to you, if this video helped you, please like the video. That helps other people find it on YouTube that are trying to do the same thing you're doing. The other challenge to this is that to adjust the glass, you can't put the window up and down unless you have everything plugged in and the door panel back on. So every time you want to adjust it, you got to plug it in, put the panel back on, close the door, see if it's adjusted, take everything off again, readjust it. I'll show you that in a minute, but that was a bit of a pain in the ass. I actually took the glass out for, not sure why. The bolt on the left goes through the glass. The one on the right just tightens onto the glass. So you'll have to remove the bolt on the left. And there's a little bit of play on the left where the bolt goes in, and on the right where you can move the glass back and forth. So you can adjust it a bit up or down, side to side, and make sure you've adjusted it enough. This is the driver's side window. Make sure you've adjusted it enough to the left when you do this. The first time I did it, I had it dead on and it wasn't going all the way over to the to cover the molding on the door. Push all that back in. Okay, so now I've got to hook everything back up again to test it out. And you've got to put the panel back on. Otherwise, well, you've got to put the panel back on. Everything's attached. And it's got to be on all the way. You don't have to put the screws in, but it's got to be on all the way for the door to close. So that's a bit of work. And one more thing, there's an automatic feature where as you open the door, it comes down 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch, and as you close the door, it goes up the other 1/8 of an inch. That may not work until you have everything back together. Don't worry about that. I found that, I don't know why, but I found that until everything is completely back together, that might not happen. So don't worry about it. It will work for you once you have everything back in place. So there I'm closing the door to see, and you can't see how it lines up. I'm sorry I didn't show you that, but you get the idea. I was reaching from the passenger side to put it up all the way to see if it closed properly. Now let's take everything off again. Being very careful. All those wires. And then I loosened it up to adjust it a little bit, either up or to the side or down. I'm not even sure which way I adjust it, but you get the idea. There is a good 1/4 inch of play in there. Okay, a couple of the plastic parts where the clips go on the door panel had come off. It's kind of common. Just glue them back on. I Gorilla glued them on right here, not a big deal. Now, another thing, on the panel, there's a plastic lip at the top of the panel that goes into the seal strip that's at the base of the glass. Make sure that's in all the way. A couple times I did this and I did not have it in all the way. I had to come back and take the door panel off again to get it back in. It's not a huge deal, but easier to just do it once. Now, the wiring harnesses are color-coded, blue, black, white. There's little dots on that control box that show which one plugs into where, so that helps a little bit. And you get two 30 Torx bolts there and there. There's also a silver piece that goes right there with two, I believe, 20 Torx screws. Oh, by the way, I didn't show you this, but there's a cable that goes to the inside door handle, to the silver door handle. So make sure you, I'm taking it off again because I didn't have the top part of it lined up into the seal strip. There's a cable that goes into the pull to get out of the car, silver door handle. You'll see it, it's not that big of a deal, but just remember to put that back. So it looks like I got it realigned properly. Things I didn't know at first, I learned by doing twice. So now we're going to put that silver trim piece back again. And then there's a plastic piece that goes there over the latch. Slides right in. And these, that goes on, pops in. And then this, when you take it off, this comes off first. And that's kind of important. It's the only way to get that other piece off. And then we're going to tuck everything back in. Again, if this was helpful, please go ahead and like it on the page. And good luck with it. And thanks for watching. Have a good week.